Hi, welcome to Sharpshooters. Today we're going to be going over basic firearm safety and rules. So whenever we're handling a firearm, regardless if it's a handgun or a long gun, we always want to make sure that it's always pointed in a safe direction. So before I start doing anything with this gun, I'm going to go ahead and unload it by dropping the magazine, making sure there's nothing there. I'm going to pull the slide back and lock it, make sure there's nothing in the chamber, put my finger in just to further confirm that there's nothing in there. And one thing that I like to use whenever I'm working on a firearm is I'm going to use this chamber flag. So I'm going to drop it in here, I'm going to pull the slide back, and this will now keep the gun in a safe position. Whether I'm going to break it down to clean it or I'm going to just practice with it for dry firing drills, I always want to make sure that it's always pointed in a safe direction and that there's no live ammunition near it. Now that we've got the firearm safe, I can go ahead and start loading my magazine up to start using at the range. So I can simply do this by using my thumbs and pushing it down and sliding each round in. Now, if the magazine spring is just too stiff or I just simply don't have the grip strength to push each round down, I can use a little tool called a mag loader to help me with this. So I can use this to simply push the round down, drop a new round in, push another one down, and just simply drop it in. It makes it very easy to load magazines very quickly and very efficiently. Now that we have our magazine and our gun is still clear and safe, now we're ready to start shooting. So before we begin, we want to make sure that we have the proper ear protection and safety glasses. While the gun is still safe, we're going to go over the proper grip. What we want to do is take our strong hand and get it up as high as we can on the gun. So what I like to try to do is try to get the back strap of this gun into the web of my palm. Now that we've got the gun in the web of our hands, I'm going to take my 4 fingers and I'm going to wrap it around the front. And what I'm going to do with my thumb, I don't want to have my thumb be down here. I want to have it straight out along the slide. And I want my index finger to be along the slide as well. Now that we have our right hand securely on the gun, we're now going to take our support hand or our other hand and wrap it around the right 4 fingers. And I'm going to get my palm to go right into this empty slot right here. And once I get that grip, I want this left thumb to be going along the slide of the gun. And then I want my right thumb to rest just gently on my weak hand, or my support hand. This is one of the most important fundamentals when shooting a firearm, is having a proper grip on the handgun. Now that we have the grip covered, we're going to talk about proper sight picture. Now, having proper sight picture is key to making accurate shots. So with most firearms, a lot of sights use what's called a 3-dot system. So you'll have 2 white dots here in the rear and 1 white dot in the front. What I want this sight picture to look like is I want to have that front post right in between the 3 dots here. So as we can see, the rear lines up, or the front post is right in the middle of this rear sight. As I go to pull the trigger, now as a note, there is no ammunition in the firearm and we've actually got a snap cap in here to protect the firing pin. As I go to pull the trigger, you'll notice that it stays as steady as possible. And the goal is to keep pulling the trigger without those sights moving. A lot of guns will have different sight makeups. So now I'm going to pull out another example of a blacked out rear with a fiber optic front. This gun is more for target shooting, as the front sight's designed to really bring the attention of your eyes right to that front sight. So now, with a Glock sight picture, we're going to take the U-shaped rear, and again, the most common thing that we're seeing is that front sight just needs to be right in the middle of there. We're just going to gently pull the trigger without those sights moving. Now that we've gone over proper sight picture and proper grip, now we're ready to start shooting. So now that I'm ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and lock the slide back on my gun. I'm going to pull the chamber flag out, and I'm going to go ahead and load a round. If you're new to shooting and you're just starting out, what I would really recommend, don't start off with a full magazine in your gun. I would start off shooting 1 round at a time. I'm going to go ahead and take my loaded magazine, I'm going to put it in the gun, and I'm going to drop the slide and chamber around. The biggest thing we always want to make sure of is that the gun is always pointed in a safe direction. One thing that we see common with new shooters is anticipation of recoil. And what that is basically getting that good sight picture, getting it there, but jerking the gun down. What we want to feel like the gun is doing is we basically want to get our sight picture and we want to let that gun just naturally kick up and let it rest back on target. We don't want to just smash the trigger back. We want it to be just a nice gentle pull. So now that I've got that all in mind, I'm going to go ahead and get my sight picture, aim, and gently pull the gun. And one thing you'll notice that time is that the gun jumped up but it rests nicely down. I'm not fighting the recoil, I'm just letting it happen. Get the proper sight picture. And now that I'm done through with my string, I'm going to go ahead and unload. Show that the gun is empty. Pull the hammer down and reholster. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you learned a lot and that you're ready to go. Remember, sharpshooters are smart shooters. Pew, 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 pew.